Likes don't matter. I know that that's probably going to make me sound like a hipster on the internet because I'm sure a lot of people say that, but I've actually prepared an argument for why they actually don't matter. So I'm going to name the single pro of likes and then the several cons of likes. So as you guys know, on social media, when you get a lot of likes, you usually tend to get more engagement. So for your pieces themselves, it's like, hey, lots of likes, lots of engagement. Social media will push that. Your drawings will get lots of likes, you get lots of followers, you get super famous, right? But how many times has that actually happened for anybody watching this video? You know, even if you do have a post that blows up, how much of that kind of bleeds back into followers? That's the one plus side of likes is, oh, a lot of people see your stuff. Maybe a lot of people will find you because they ran into a post that you made. So that's awesome, but if that's really the only benefit here, I really don't think it's worth it. This isn't necessarily about likes being completely useless. It's just about how you shouldn't plan your pieces or your artwork around likes. I think an important thing that you need to do is actually make things for yourself, or at least balance them out. If you're making a thing for you, the end result should be good enough for you. So it's not, hey, this whatever will get me a lot of likes, that whatever will get me a lot of likes, because if it ends up not getting the engagement that you're after, you're going to feel like you really wasted your time and it could be discouraging. That shouldn't be your only incentive to make things. If you were to actually take the like bar away, how much would you actually like the piece that you're working on? Would you say that it's worth your time? It's not bad to occasionally make things that appeal to your audience, but I'd say that there definitely does need to be a bit of a balancing act with something like that, whether it's a thing for you and then a thing for them, or, you know, two things for you and then a thing for them. There's got to be some kind of balancing act there, just because if you're doing things only for other people and you're making these pieces that take a lot of time, you're really going to end up burning out very quickly, just because you're hoping for engagement that you're not going to get, and it's going to be a total shot in the dark. So that can be really demoralizing, and that kind of makes art a popularity contest, which I'm sure is not very fun for a lot of people. With that being said, you got to also understand that the end result of your piece isn't going to be the 10 likes that it gets. The end result of your piece is the drawing itself. Think about it this way. Most of the engagement that you actually get on your artwork will happen in the first couple of hours, if not the first couple of days. But after that, when it dies down and you're not really seeing any engagement anymore, that drawing is just going to be there floating in space on the internet for everyone to find for the rest of forever. How happy are you with that drawing? Is it something that you rush just to get things cranked out for that little extra dopamine hit? You're just like, yeah, all right, social media, I see that red circle notification, feels good, man. But in the process, I ruined every single drawing I've made for the last year. You got to make something that you're happy with, something that, you know, means something to you. However deep or shallow that meaning is doesn't really matter, but it's important to actually take your time with art, not really rush it just to have things cranked out all the time, because you can tell when something is rushed. And I actually made a poll about this on Instagram, and the universal consensus from everybody who was an artist, or at least appreciates or enjoys art, was that it's better for them to actually see something that they can tell that a lot of effort was put into, because that resonates with people. They can feel that. You can look at something and know when it took a really long time, and it doesn't necessarily have to take a long time, but you can tell when somebody cares about what they're doing. It comes across in the actual style of the artwork itself. After your engagement is done, what do you have left? If you just have a bunch of mediocre drawings that you know you could have done better on, that's kind of demoralizing. But if you spend your time really working on something that's really good and that you're proud of, you actually build a pretty decent portfolio. You're not worried about the likes, and a lot of recruiters won't care about the likes. They just want to make sure that your stuff is quality. And if your stuff is quality because you took your time and it just happens to get likes, that's awesome. A lot of people equate the artwork to the amount of engagement that it gets, and that can paint a really skewed picture, just because not everyone is super willing to engage with artwork, even if they love it. I'm actually a really good example of this because I'm terrible. I will go on social media, look at a bunch of drawings, and, you know, I'll be like, whoa, how the hell did they do that? This is crazy. And I freaking love the drawing, and it's just like inspirational, and I think it's awesome, and it's insane. And I forget to leave a like, and I forget to leave a comment, and I forget to subscribe. I am the worst at that kind of engagement, and I know that there is at least one other person out there in the world that does what I do. They look at an art piece, it's amazing, and they're just like super blown away by it, and they leave you no form of engagement. I know that everyone has at least one person that's going to end up like that in the span of their entire art career. So you just need to remember there are people like that. There are people who really like your stuff. They're just not vocal on the internet because they'll get canceled for saying something that the internet doesn't like. People are crazy. They just would rather stay away from the crazy. Like for me, I am terrible with engagement just because I would rather not deal with the internet's mess. There are people out there who will genuinely and sincerely like your stuff, and from what I've actually noticed, and this is just in my own experience, the people who usually tend to buy stuff from my store, say it's stickers, my art book, any kind of prints, they're usually people that I don't even know their username. I'll be like, who is this? Just because they haven't ever really engaged with my stuff before, but they're the ones that like your art enough to buy it. So you got to remember that likes aren't everything. There are people that will like your stuff, they just don't feel like double tapping on an image, or they forget. In my case, I forget. I'm trying to do my best to get better at that, to actually engage with people and let them know that I like their stuff. But I think that there's more meaningful ways to do that than to just leave a like. If you were to leave a genuine, nice comment for somebody's stuff, I think that that would be so much better for them and so much better for you, just because you're like, hey, I like your drawing. It looks really nice. It blew my freaking mind, and holy crap, I'm so inspired to do my own whatever now. I think that's worth a million likes. That has so much more value to it. It's a little bit more effort on your part, but trust me, it makes artists' days every single time. There are so many people online that are so willing to post rude comments and be an asshole. So, you know, when somebody goes out of their way to say something nice to you, that means way more than any amount of likes. And another thing that bothers me about the like system is that it tends to crush your confidence. It'll tell you what people objectively think is good and what people objectively think is bad. If you have one piece that got significantly more likes than another, the internet's going to tell you, you do more of that because that's what's good. But that might be a skewed perception because you might have other things that are infinitely better than that one thing that just happened to take off. So it's good as a frame of reference to say, hey, a lot of people like this thing that I made, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best thing or the main thing that you should be working on. You got to make the things that you personally enjoy. The likes and stuff will follow and they will happen, but that shouldn't be the number one most important thing that's going on for you. Remember, with the drawing is actually the end result. A year from now, nobody's going to look at the likes or care about them. All they'll see is some final finished image on some social media website. They'll run into your stuff and say, wow, that's crazy, and follow you because they like the stuff that you make. That's kind of just my thoughts on this. If it was just a rant for a really long time, then sorry, but I just wanted to kind of leave my thoughts on that subject because from what I've seen of social media, it's great for showing your stuff, but it shouldn't be controlling what you make. If you're worried about taking off on the internet and becoming super famous and doing this as a job, if you had to do that by making something that you absolutely hate because everyone else liked it, is it really worth it? If you have any thoughts on the subject, let me know. I would actually love to hear them. That's it for this video, and if there's any other topics that you want me to talk about or discuss, let me know. Bye!